Hello and welcome back. It is lesson 4. We're going to look at unknown numbers in multiplication and unknown numbers in division. So, for example, if you have 5w, that means 5 times w. 12 over x means 12 divided by x. In multiplication, you have two factors equaling a product. So one factor times another factor equals a product. To find an unknown factor, all you need to do is divide the product and the known factor. So for example, if we have 5 times w, which is what that means, equaling the product of 20, you just need to take 20 divided by 5 to find out what the value of w equals. And in this case, it would be 4. 20 divided by 5 is 4, so w equals 4. Plug 4 in for the value of w and you would get 5 times 4, and that equals 20. If you have division, you have the answer is going to be a quotient, but you have your dividend. That's usually the larger number, but it doesn't have to be. It's usually the number on inside of the division bar, and the divisor is on the outside. When you take the dividend and you divide it into parts, the number of parts being the divisor, you get the quotient. It can also look like this. You could have the dividend divided by the divisor equals your answer, the quotient, or you could have the dividend divided by the divisor equals the quotient, looking like this. The problem could be like that or this. To find any missing dividend, all you have to do is multiply the divisor and the quotient. So if we don't know what the dividend is, we take the divisor times the quotient to find out what it is. If we don't know what this dividend is, we just take the divisor times the quotient to find the dividend. If we don't know what the dividend is, we take the divisor times the quotient. To find a missing divisor, you have to divide the dividend by the quotient. So if you don't know what the divisor is, you take the dividend divided by the quotient. If you don't know what the divisor is, the dividend divided by the quotient. So for example, if you have n divided by 3 equaling 6, you have the dividend divided by 3 equaling the quotient 6. So here you have your dividend, the divisor. All you have to do is multiply the divisor and quotient. So in this case, it would be 6 times 3 equals 18. So n would be 18. If it's in this case, the divisor that's missing, you have your quotient divided by your dividend divided by the quotient, which would result in the divisor. So 35 divided by 5 equals 7. And if you take 5 times 7, you would get 35. So you can see that answer works out like that. So let's find the missing number in this case. And again, if you don't remember all the terminology and the lingo, that's not that big of a deal. You just need to know both of these are factors, and two factors multiplied by each other would result in the answer in this case. So here you have a times 6 equals 72. That means I need to take 72 divided by 6 to find out what a is. So I'm going to do that. 72 divided by 6, and I get 1, 6. Subtract that, bring this down. I have 12. 12 divided by 6 is 2. That means that a equals 12. And if I plug that value in up there, 12 times 6, it should result in 72. So this would be 12, carry that. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 makes 7. Perfect. Let's try another example here. Say we're missing w in this case. So in this case, you would want to take, and a lot of the times, what I like to do, and I look at future mindedness here, this would be like saying I want W to be by itself on one side of an equation. So I sometimes will look at this like, hey, if I take 6 divided by 6 here and it's still equal, I have to take 6 divided by 6 over here. But 6 divided by 6 over here becomes 1. And what's 1 times anything? It's whatever it's being multiplied times. So W will equal 84 divided by 6. That's what this is, 84 divided by 6. I have W isolated on one side of the equation, and I have 84 divided by 6 on this side. I can work that out. I've got 84 divided by 6, and that will go in there one time. Subtract that, I get 2. Bring down this 4. 24 divided by 6 is 4. 4 times that would be 24. There'd be nothing left over. So that means W should equal 14. And if I want to double check my work, I just take 14 times 6 and I get 24. That'd be that. 6 plus 2 would be 8. 84. So perfect. That's exactly right. If we're trying to find the missing number here, K divided by 6 equals 15. So the letter K in the position is this is in the dividend position. If you were to rewrite this problem with a division box, it would look like this. K divided by 6 equals 15. You can find the unknown dividend by multiplying the divisor and the quotient. So let's just multiply 15 times 6. That's all we have to do. 15 times 6. And you'd end up with 30. This would be 6 plus 3 would be 90. So that means K should equal 90. And if I was to double check my work on that, all I have to do is take 90 divided by 6, and 6 will go into 9 one time. That'll be 3 away, so I'm going to do short-handed division. Now I have 30 divided by 6 would be 5, and that'd be nothing left over, so 15. That's correct. K equals 90. All right, let's look at example 4. Find the missing number. So in this case, you have 126. The letter M is in the position of the divisor in this case. You have the dividend and then the divisor, and then you have your answer. So if you were going to rewrite this problem, it would be in a division box format, be 126 divided by M equals 7. We can find M by dividing 126 by it. So we could actually do this. 126 divided by 7 will result in the other one. See, these two multiplied together would equal this, but 126 divided by M is also not going to work because we don't know what M is. So we need to get M as part of the answer, your quotient. Let's look at 126 divided by 7. That would be the same as 1 time. This will get us to 7. That would be 5. Bring down the 6. 56 divided by 7 would be 8. So that means M should be 18. And I want to double check that by taking 18 times 7, and it should equal 126. And this would be 5 plus 7, 126. So perfect. It is correct. All right, go ahead and try letter A. If you have A times 7 equals 91, what is the value of A? Okay, if you have A times 7 equals 91, then I need to take, in this case, I'm going to do 91 divided by 7. And 7 will go into 9 one time, subtract it, And I get 21 because I'm going to bring that 1 down. This would be 3. So that means A would equal 13 for letter A. For letter B, 20 times B equals 440. Go ahead and answer that. All right, so this is what you should have gotten if you take 440 and you divide it by 20. A little trick here, if you didn't know, you could take these two zeros off the end of this. You could have this. Now it would turn into 44 divided by 2. And 44 divided by 2, 2 will go into 4 2 times. Bring that down. Then you have 4 divided by 2 2 times, and then it'd be 4, and there'd be nothing left over. So in this case, B should equal 22. If I want to check my work, I just take 22 times 20, and I'm going to hang the 0 off over here. And that would be that, and this would be 440, so that's right, 440. All right, let's do letter C. So in this one, you have these two numbers. You have your dividend, your divisor, and your quotient. So when you don't know what the dividend is, and you have the quotient and the divisor, you just multiply those two. So I'm going to take 15 times 7, and I'm going to get 35, and that's 10. So that means that C should equal 105. And if I want to double check my work, I just take 105 divided by 7, and that would go in there one time. That would be 7. This would be 3. Bring this 5 down, be 35. And 35 divided by 7 is the same as 5. So that's right. I got the correct answer. All right, let's look at letter D. Go ahead and answer that. So this time I know the dividend, but I don't know the divisor. So I still need to do a division problem here. I'm going to have to take, since I know the quotient, I'm going to have to take the dividend divided by the quotient that I do know to find out what that missing divisor is, letter D, or the value of D. So 8 will go into, it won't go into 0, 1, so I'm just going to skip that. A lot of times people put zeros there. You don't need to do that. Just stop doing that. All you need to do is take 8 into 14. You know it'll fit in there one time. If it was 2 times, it would be 16. That's too much. So I'm going to subtract that, and I get 6. And I'd bring this down. That'd be 4. 64 divided by 8 is simply 8. So that'd be 18. So that means D in this case equals 18. All right, let's move right along. Go ahead and answer letter E. All right, when you're doing E, I see 7 times W is what this means, equals 84. So I'm going to take, in this case, 84 divided by 7 to find out what the value of W is going to be. That'll go in there one time, subtract that, bring this down. 14 divided by that would be 12. So the value of W would be 12. All right, go ahead and do letter F. All right, if I know the answer to, it's very similar to this one. So I'd have to take 112 divided by 8. So for letter F, it's 112 divided by 8. 8 will go into 11 one time. Subtract that. That'd be 3. Bring this down. This would be 2. 32 divided by 8 is 4. So that means in this case M equals 14. And if I want to double check it, I just take 8 times 14. If it's 112, I'm right. And I am Let's look at letter G. Go ahead and answer that one. All right, in G, you have 360 divided by x, that's what that means, equals 30. So in this case, you would want to take 360, instead of dividing it by x, we're going to divide it by 30. So it'd be 360 divided by 30. And I'm going to use this trick that I was sharing with you earlier. I'm going to take those two zeros out, because now I just have 36 divided by 3, because I'm dividing by 10 on both of them basically. Now it becomes 36 divided by 3. This would be 12. So that means x should equal 12, and I just want to double check that. I'm going to do 12 times 30 to check it. And I get, in this case, 360. I can also check it by taking 360 divided by 12. And that would go in there 3 times. And that would be 36. And that'd be 0. And there'd be nothing left over, 30. So yes, looks good. All right, let's do letter H. If you have n divided by 5 equals 60, that means that you just take the 5 times 60 in order to find n in this case. So because n is going to be a large number that's divided into 5 equal parts, that equals 60. So if you have 5 groups of 60, that would equal that. So that means it's a rather large number. It'd be 300. So n equals 300. You can check your work by putting n divided by 5, which is 300 divided by 5. So if I want to check that, I just do 300 divided by 5, and that would be this, 60. 0 divided by 5 is 0. Don't forget to add that in there. For letter I, it says write a word problem using the equation in exercise H. So your word problem could be, so if this is the equation for the word problem, you could write your word problem, let me make that a little bit smaller. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's say your word problem is based on that. You could say there were, say, how many students were in the school if there were 5 groups of 60 students. So that would be similar to that, or it could also be that's just one example you could have for that. All right, thanks for watching today. I appreciate you guys sticking with me on that, and we'll catch you next time. Have a good night.